Hi, and welcome to FairyFaeandThings, your one-stop shop for everything mystical, magical, and fantastical. And today, we will be customizing Iridessa. I will be using two different Monster High dolls to make Iridessa, Venus McFlytrap and Claudine Wolf. I feel like Venus McFlytrap's face mold matches the expression that I want to give Iridessa better than Claudine's. But Venus McFlytrap is a tall doll, and I want Iridessa to be average height. So I will be taking her head and putting it on Claudine's body. Whew. Let's get into it. So since the head's already off the body, we can go ahead and start cutting off the hair. How do you guys feel about my transition into the videos? I've definitely been thinking a lot about it because I did let's get into it, and then I said let's make some magic. I don't know, I can't come up with a good idea for a transition. Maybe you guys can help me. Since I'm planning on rerooting the entire head, I am cutting off all of Venus's braids. I also want to ask you guys one more thing, that you should leave a comment down below about what doll you want to see next. I am debating which one I want to do next, so I could really use your help. Now I can take my 100% acetone, and yes, I made sure it was 100% acetone nail polish remover, and remove her face. Once her face is removed, I go in with black paint to paint the hairline. I also chose to use Venus's hands. Now I'm taking my nail drill and I'm sanding off all of the fur on her legs, on her arms, and any lines I don't like. Then I go in with a finer grit sandpaper and smooth it all out. Now it's time to make the dress. I'm using this paper template to make a leaf shape that I'm going to use for the top of the dress. Now I'm going to do what I do in every video, which is cut the sides and fold them over using Uhu glue. Then I fold the leaf around her chest and secure it in place with Uhu glue. I cut it in the back so that I can take the shirt off, and then I sew a bunch of bigger sunflower petals to the top. I go in with orange paint to make them look more like sunflower petals. Iridessa has a large sunflower seed on her dress, and I do want to keep that. So I go in and I sculpt a sunflower seed shape, I paint it black, and then I add white stripes. I use Uhu glue to attach the sunflower seed, and I also use Uhu glue to attach all of the glitter. Now it's time to reroot the hair. I go in with this doll hair I got from Dolly Hair. That is textured hair and I'm very excited to use it. I made the rerooting tool from an X-Acto knife from the dollar store, and I got the needle from the same place I got the hair. And so now I'm just going around the head. So when I rerooted Tinkerbell's hair, I filled in everything and it was impossible to get that thing into a bun. So with Iridessa, we're not going to fill in the entire head. We're just going to go around and fill in her bangs. So for Iridessa's hair, I wanted to do sort of a ponytail and then 2 pieces in front. And how I'm doing that is I'm marking out the 2 like front bang sections and I'm rerooting them so that you have a hairline. And then I'm just tying everything back with some ponytails and securing all the hair plugs with Uhu glue. I reattach the head to Claudine's body, and I'm also using Venus's hands. Now it's time to color match to the best of my ability, which, as you will see later in this video, is not really an ability I possess. And I seal everything using Mr. Super Clear. I go in with pan pastels, but that ends up making the skin look kind of blotchy, so I just go back over it with paint. And now it's time for the face up. One of my favorite parts. I am so excited. I love her face up at this point. So I go in with a brown watercolor pencil and I mark out where I want the eyes to be and a lip liner. I also kind of want to have a bit of a worried face for Iridessa because she is the more cautious one of the group. Obviously, I don't want it to be like, oh, she looks scared. I just want her to look a little concerned. And for her lips, I'm going in with a light kind of yellow color because I really want to bring in oranges and yellows because those are the colors of sunflowers. I use acrylic paint to go in and paint the... what is it called? Are they scleras? Am I using the right terminology? You should tell me. Anyway, the white parts of her eyes. I'm also going in with acrylic paint for her eyeshadow and her eye color. Now time for the scleras. I'm going in with sort of this like half circle shape because I want a lot of sun motifs, and that's like the sun rising. Face up is done. Now to make the shoes. I go in and I cut out a piece that's similar to the size of her foot. I'm planning on making cute little sandals, so I'm going in and I'm drilling a hole between her toes so that we can add like a flip-flop sort of thing, and then it will go up into a gladiator style. I'm painting everything yellow, and then I am securing gold wire to the bottom of her shoes and wrapping it around her foot. So I made these wings, and the style for them is like a sun. And then I take this little gold wire that I got from the earring kit, and I cut it and I stick it on the side that I want to attach the wings. Then I trace all the lines with UV resin and follow those lines with the same gold thread I use to sew everything together. Then, just like the wings for Tinkerbell and Periwinkle, I go in and I dye the inner part of the wing yellow, and then I go in with clear UV resin and spread that around the rest of the wing. Now to make the wings shine. I go in with the same nail gold powder and I apply that all over the back of the wing. I go in with a nail drill and start drilling where I want the wings to be, and then I put the wings inside and secure it with UV resin. And now for accessories. So I'm going in with that same earring kit, and it also came with these little gold things, and so I just slide that on along with a little chain, and I just poke that into her earring hole. We're gonna go in and shape the hair. I use scissors and cut the front pieces of her hair accordingly, just sort of leaving, I don't know, I go in and, I do the snipping upwards and I eventually shape it how I want it. So Iridessa is looking a little plain, so I decided to go in and make her a headband. I wanted it to look like those things that hold the rainbows. Anyway, so I measure it, I cut it, and then I wrap it around her head. And with a little faith, trust, and pixie dust, she's done. I want to say thank you for watching, and if you like this content and want to see more, go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe.